Sploosh.
Let's talk about our fishing problems. I'm gonna call them fishing problems.
That's not a bad way to say it.
Summer has slipped away already, Tim.
I know, dude. It sucks.
I don't have.
I did not
Dick.
accomplish a lot that I wanted to accomplish. Good news is we still have fall.
Yep.
I still will have time to fish, hopefully. So it's not over yet. But
agree
definitely I did not get nearly what I wanted to do done.
Did you make a fishing vision board this year?
So I didn't make a fishing vision board. When I actually saw that in the doc.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So here's the thing.
I didn't either.
I know that you put down like no excuses, just why.
Yeah. Because I don't want it to sound like, I mean, we're a fishing podcast. So I'll just say, I just put, you saw that in the doc.
Yeah.
And here's why. Because I don't want this to come off as a couple people who just get together and talk about fishing, but never actually go fishing.
Right.
I wanted to, I mean, if you don't know about the podcast, you don't know about us. If you are new, given the new traction and stuff like that, we're dads. We're busy, 40 plus hour a week dads. So, not just dads. I mean, we work our 9 to 5 in quotes, and then we come home and we be dads too. And so, there's a lot of fishing history. Being from Minnesota, Tim's deep in. This is his main hobby,
right?
And I do think that everything we've done is credible. Everything that we're doing with the Real TV podcast is credible because we're 100%. Trying to teach, learn, make mistakes, teach more.
And
go.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, please.
I was just gonna say before we move off of this, since we're kind of giving an introduction to anybody new, if you weren't familiar and stuff too, I have had multiple boats in my life. Things haven't gone well. I have now a little tiny boat that I can't do a lot with because it's literally just powered by a trolling motor. So I rely on my father's boat, and he only has it on one lake up north. So I'm limited to stuff like that. So some of the goals I set for myself have been hindered by this. So if anybody's wondering, like, how do you even have fishing experience? Well, it's like I have fished many lakes in the past, and I've fished one lake all the time, constantly. But sometimes as far as like my plans go, it's hindered because it's not my boat. I'm not the only one using it. I have other people with me all the time, and it makes things a little bit harder. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that a lot of this stuff is I don't necessarily get to accomplish my goals because there's a lot of different things at play. But my son starts school this year, and that's going to free up a lot of money with daycare. So the boat is on its way, not on its way, but I will have a new boat. I will be able to fish.
Because that's also the thing with your boat situation is that like up until, what was it, just before the pandemic, so like 2018 or so, you did have your own boat. So like you didn't have to rely on your dads. And so when you were, when you were at the lake, you were able to go out on your own boat on your own terms.
Exactly. Yes.
And now it's just like kids want to go on a cruise. Grandpa's taking them on a cruise, and you're going with, but you're probably not stopping to cast.
Yep. And in the past, I've always, for a lot of times, I've been like in between boats.
Sure.
It's like I had this boat, then it shits out. Then I got to sell it, find a new one. Then I have that boat, and then it shits out. Then I sell it. And it's been like that. And now I've been patiently waiting where I have this cheap, just electronic powered thing, because I don't want to get stuck in the same cycle of buying an old boat that has been around for so long and went from like hand to hand. And it's like, who knows how well these people have taken care of this stuff. And I'm just over that part and I want to get something newer and more reliable. And
Right.
when that happens, I promise the goals are going to start just popping off, because then I'll be able to have all my gear. Like, you don't even think about some of the stuff that happens. Like when it comes to like fishing in my dad's boat,
Mhm.
the rods and the reels and most of the tackle is coming down to the dock every single time. When I have my own stuff and I have like different,
Mm.
places to lock up, and
Mhm.
even for camera gear and recording gear, like
Right.
that stuff can just be put into a storage area that can be locked. And then when it's
Right.
time, we just unlock it, take it out. But it's not my boat. So I can't just be like, I'm going to put all this stuff here, I'm going to put all
Right.
that stuff there,
Yep.
So
Yeah.
it really hinders a lot of stuff with what I want to be able to do. Even the mounts, I can go and put the
Yeah.
mounts and just leave the mounts on permanently. And then
Right.
all I got to do is take the camera off, but I
Right.
can't do any of that stuff until it's my boat. So
Right.
it's just like,
Yeah. Yeah, for
just,
sure. And it's those sort of things. Like I don't think any of those are excuses at all. I just don't. I wanna stray away from the comment section, going like, "Well, these guys don't even fish. They're fucking just out here making excuses." And it's just like,
oh yeah.
I already have the internet commenter in my head, and I shouldn't. But I wanted to still preface it that way. That's why I put down no
Oh,
excuses, just the whys, because I
right.
don't want to sit here and dwell on the like, well, I could have here, but then this and
Right.
that and the other thing, and it's just like, nah, yeah, you didn't for a reason, right? Like I could have,
Right.
but then I did this. Oh no, man! I hope that stays connected. We just got an alert that we
Oh,
dropped
mine
connection. I'm good.
mine seems to be going.
Yeah, me too. I just saw
Okay.
the
Oh.
notification and I just let it get
All
to me. I
right.
should have just kept talking. But
Whatever.
yeah, do you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
hate like making excuses, and I hate
Yeah.
listening to these. Like I hate listening to people talk like this. Even so, why make a podcast about it? Of where they go, well, I could have done this, and then I could have done that, and then I could have done this, and it would have turned out like that. It's like that's an excuse.
Yeah.
That's an excuse.
Right.
I'll tell you
Right.
right now. Here's one. Walleye fishing for eaters with new gear for me. This is still
Yeah.
possible,
Right.
but right now I'm having a hard time
Definitely.
figuring out when that's going to be.
When it could be is when we possibly can make time to set up and go fishing on that like floating pier thing.
Oh,
You'll be able to do that there.
no shit. I just didn't think. Oh
There's a
God,
goal that we can accomplish right away, dude. Like,
I
so
hope we
that's
can do that.
so if anybody doesn't know, I can't even remember what it's called, but
I can't remember.
in Minnesota here, there's like a river and they have like this floating dock, but
It's
I
on the
think
border.
is it right? Yeah, it's on
I
the
think
border
technically
of
the business is
Minnesota.
operated out of Wisconsin, but because it's on the river,
Oh,
you can
okay.
fish with your
So it's
Minnesota
fine
license.
either
So.
side. Yeah, because one side's Minnesota, one side's Wisconsin.
Right.
I see. Yes,
It's
that's
border
I
waters.
forgot about that part.
Yep.
Yes, because we did chat about that a little bit, but yeah. So that it's like this floating dock, but the dock is able to like move. I think it's motorized, almost like they just have. It's like a barge almost.
Yeah, I couldn't totally figure it out. It
I
just it
couldn't
looked
either, but
cool.
it looks so cool, and they can move and they like hit different spots, and they're fishing for walleye in that river and stuff. So we can definitely get some stuff done this year still. And I
Oh
have
yeah.
summer's not completely over.
No.
Getting back into the goals and stuff. I do want to say like again, this isn't excuses. These are reasons why. Like, so
Yeah.
I put down that Kyogre lure
Yep.
and I'm like, I'm going to go fish that. I went and put new line on my rod and reel and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot to bring a leader. I didn't bring up any of my muskie
Oh.
stuff because I just had the rod.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the only lure I'm going to use. I'm not going to go fish for muskies per se.
Yeah.
I am going to try to catch a muskie with the Kyogre lure.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that don't know, Kyogre is a Pokemon. Duojon made it's a collaboration with Pokemon,
Yep.
and they made a lure that is a Kyogre lure.
Yep. We have a box
this-
opening over on our YouTube channel. If you go check it out.
Yes. Oh, also speaking of the YouTube channel, if you wanted to see what my little boat was like, we have a crappie video where I fish out of the little boats. It's the only actual fishing video we have up besides the episode that we did live, where you
and the short
played video games.
Wasn't even fishing.
Yeah, right.
It was a
but
story.
you played you played video games, and then I went actual fishing for crappie a little bit too early and wasn't catching spawn, but I did catch some bass and stuff in that video, but that was a
Yep.
live version
Okay.
of the podcast. Anyways,
Yep.
so if you want to see what my little boat is like, there's 2 different episodes out there where you can actually see me driving around
That's right.
fishing out of it.
Yeah.
But that Kyogre lure is a $50 lure.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not casting this shit out unless I know that it is secure. I'm not dicking around with this. It's a topwater lure, so it floats.
Yep.
But I've lost other floating lures. Like when you cast and they go flying for a really far distance.
Okay.
Sometimes if there's some waves and shit, when you get close for whatever reason, like you're like, it's over there, and then you drive and then you just can't find it.
Huh.
And this one, I would think I'd be able to find it since it's like blue.
Yeah, it's like bright fucking blue.
Bright blue. It does not look like a normal animal. And the feathers, it's got feathers covered hooks and stuff. But it's a top water bait and it walks. And dude, I got a leader on it. But then when I went up there, so my whole week I didn't have the leader, and we went into town and I bought a couple of things, and I completely brain farted and didn't buy the leader. And I'm like, shit. And it's so far away to go and grab a leader because
right,
they didn't have the leaders like close.
Yep.
You know, I went into Brainerd, which is a decent hike.
Yep.
And just missed it. So that just sucked where I was just like, I just screwed up on this. So I learned a lot about walleye fishing that week and just kind of really dissected a couple of spots. And
we'll get into that in the second half, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I got excited about that. But that Kyogre lure, that bait walks so cool that I really have. Dude, I fished it for a little while, but it was so damn windy.
Oh, okay.
Top water on a very windy day doesn't really work very well. But I was able to like kind of pull it sideways with the waves so I could really see how it fished. And it has so much action, but it doesn't move very fast. Meaning that it's basically like over the strike zone. Like if it's by something that's hungry and it's just kind of splashing and stuff and something wants to eat it, it's gonna be there, not really trying to like outrun anything. It's just gonna be there letting that fish like decide if it wants to smash it or not. I casted out the Pikachu lure too because I have both of them.
Oh, you did?
I was not very impressed with the Pikachu. I was like, I don't like the way this swims. It's kind of like it kind of moves a little bit slower. And I was like, I know that I'll catch a bass off of this or a northern eventually if I keep using it. But I was like, I've seen other people catch fish off of the Pikachu, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, that's not even what I'm interested in. I want a big fish to smash this Kyogre.
Yeah.
And after taking it out, I'm 1,000% more confident. I think I've said it before. That's fucking stupid. You can't go more over than 100. So I'm very confident. But I'm very confident that I think something will eat it as long as it's not turned off by the weird coloring and stuff. I think I will catch a fish. I don't know if it's going to be a monster, but I don't see how I won't at least get a northern to bite eventually.
Right, like you at least a decent size.
Yeah, I just look at it and I'm like, the way this moves and the way this walks, if I keep casting it, I'm gonna get something that's hungry.
Right.
That's gonna see this thing that seemingly looks like it's struggling like a motherfucker on the surface.
That's crazy to hear. Like I love that they hit the water. Like you got them out there, but the caution around them because they are they are like collector's editions. That's how I'll just put it.
Right.
It's like they're collectors, and so I totally understand. You want to use it? That's fucking awesome. I won't use mine, and there has to be a level of caution that you have to put around it. So, but I'm glad they hit the water, dude. Right. It's so cool to hear. I love hearing the firsthand experience. It's hearing how much it walks and like doesn't move and stuff. It almost makes me go like, is it like a struggling bird almost? I mean, you probably
Yeah,
maybe don't.
kind of.
Yeah.
That's probably not a bad way to put it, because I think a struggling bird is kind of like both wings at the same time is kind of how it swims.
Okay.
But I could see if it was injured, how it would be like one fucking wing at a time, because that's what it's kind of like.
Yeah, that's what
It's kind of like almost just like flailing as it swims through the water.
okay.
It makes a lot of commotion. It makes a lot of noise. It's I really liked it. I was like, this is a winner
It
right
sounds like
here.
you had a
I
fun time with just watching it. Or
just watching it a couple of times, I was just like,
yeah.
oh, look at that thing. I started showing everybody else. I'm like, Dad, check this out. Showing my dad. Braxton, you gotta check this out. You know, my nephew,
Uh-huh.
everybody. I'm just like, you guys gotta check this shit
You
out,
gotta
dude.
look
Look
at
at
it.
this thing. Look at that thing. And they're like, oh yeah.
That's cool.
So we're all on the same page. We're like, yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool. How
Except
did
for
it
my
fly?
dad. Through the air, it
Mhm.
went pretty good, because the arms, when you cast out, they're like jointed.
Mm-hmm.
So when you cast, the arms actually like fold in, so it flies pretty
God.
good. And then when
It
it
goes into
lands,
fucking dive mode, dude.
yeah, but it
Like
flies backwards.
Falcon dive. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So when you
cool.
throw it, it's like ass first with its
It's like a
thing stuck
Falcon
in.
sumo bomb.
Falcon Sumo Bomb. Dude, that's the name. That's the attack I got to use when I cast it out. Kyogre, use your Falcon Sumo Bomb.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
That's good. Well, good. I'm glad to hear it hit the water. That's good progress and a good shot. But yeah, you definitely have catch a fish on it. So it's, I mean,
Right.
you got it together. I mean, you
And
got, it
it's
sounds like
still
you have a setup
possible.
for it.
Yeah,
So
it's still possible this year. It was just that, like, once I got it out, that last time we were up there was high winds and big waves.
yeah, just
the
not
whole
ready for
weekend.
top water.
Yeah,
sure.
so we got I won't be up there for a couple of weekends, but we got Labor Day coming up still. And even if that doesn't work out, there's still a couple of lakes around here that I could definitely go and try to fish it out of the little boat.
Sure.
Which would be even more insane. Catching
Yeah.
a big fish
Have
on a
to do it
Kyogre in the
something
little
that's
boat.
decent
Yeah.
and get it in. Okay. We'll stick to yours and then I'll jump back to mine because, well, yeah. We're going to go one more. Okay. You have dogfish, home turf. Did you learn anything about the dogfish, or is this something we should save for the second half? What do you got?
Well, should we? I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's
Okay.
so I didn't learn much about the dogfish, but there was something else that happened, and I don't know if we should hit it right now
Or save it.
because it
I say we
it
save
does.
it.
We save it.
I say we
Okay.
save it, and you just say, catch a dogfish on home turf. You just answer that. You did not catch a dogfish on your home turf.
We'll say that I did not catch a dogfish on home turf. Now, I will say that we did play around. We did try a couple of different spots. We changed some stuff up.
Oh.
I will say too that there was a couple of areas I was in different areas.
Oh.
And it's where I thought maybe there might be a dogfish here or whatever. I was in an area of the lake where, like, for whatever reason, all the water was like, I don't even know how to describe it any better, but like slightly like a silverish tint to it.
Whoa.
And the water clarity wasn't on point. And it was like, what the hell is going on here? This is weird. And yeah, it was a little bit weird. And snapping turtles are not aggressive from what I know. But there was a big party and a lot of children on a trampoline, and I don't know, 100 feet from that trampoline was a 30-pound snapping turtle.
Jesus.
So I was like, ooh, that's do I say something? Do I be like, watch your toes? But then those children, the one just going by, the one's just like, you catching any fish? And I'm just like, some. And then one kid trying to be funny goes, "What's your favorite kind of beer?" And I just go, "The kind you can't drink yet." And then just like, because it's just like a child. I don't know.
Right.
They're trying to be weird.
Yeah.
But that is tying into a little bit of the summer. But I will say, like, we did try some different spots. We
Okay.
did try some different stuff.
And we'll get into it.
It wasn't necessarily all to like catch dogfish, but it was like, there's a chance here. I never went and really sat down because I think the key to catching dogfish, which the really hard part is because of like the time restraints and how I haven't had the opportunity to do what I want all the time, which with that week up there, because I did spend a week at the cabin,
Mm-hmm.
I thought that I'd be able to do more, but those were the hottest days of the summer.
So
And
far.
we just sat so far. Yes, correct. But 2 of those days were just like, well, we're just going to sit in the water and do nothing. You
Right.
get up early in the morning. You're like, I got 3 hours before I can't stand to be out here anymore.
Right. Yep.
So it was that kind of shit where I thought like, okay, I think I can get more done. And then it was just so damn hot that you're like, well,
You were like, mm-mm.
yeah. And it was like me, my wife, and my son. So then it just almost feels selfish at a certain point too,
Right.
where she doesn't necessarily want to swim with him in the water all day, just them two.
Right.
And then I'd just be like, "But it's hot out, so you get him in the water, and I'm just gonna leave you." You know?
Yep. Yeah, totally. And that's why that when I preface this with the whole like, if you
Yeah,
haven't been here before, we're dads and trying to balance hobby and family and all that stuff, because those are the
right.
exact moments where
Yeah. And he's
um,
too young to just, be chilling in the water by himself, and he
right.
doesn't want to. But yeah, so I guess long story coming to an abrupt end was we tried some different stuff. I was not successful. I didn't see any. I have seen some in the past. I didn't even
Sure.
see any.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
And on the dad note thing is, I'll go into mine, is catch a predator in one of the local ponds here, with a
yeah.
gilly. Now I'm going to change that, and I'm just going to say
Ooh,
catch a predator. Who cares? I'm gonna freaking Tim. Shit, my joke didn't work.
fucking
Chris Hansen.
Chris Hansen.
I'm gonna Chris Hansen it, but I fucking forgot his name, so my joke didn't work. God damn it. But I was just, yeah, I had it down specifically with the gilly because the 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 gilly that I bought is identical to the little bait fish that swim in the majority of these
Oh yeah.
fishing ponds around here.
Yep.
And I did get to try. We got one of those. I don't know if there's a proper name for it, but I'm just gonna call it one of them kid trailers that you pull behind the bike.
Okay. I just the mashup of kid trailer when we're talking about predators was just like,
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm just like, where are you going with this? I just tried to catch a predator, so I got one of those kid trailers.
Kid trailer. Oh no! Oh no! It sounds horrible.
Oh, but I get what you're talking about. Where it's like one of those, it's like a 2-wheel deal, and then your
Yeah.
kid it's like kind of like a screen.
Yep.
In like little
It's like
room.
a screened
Okay, I
in,
see.
yeah, like a screened porch with wheels that you pull behind your bike.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
homeless people use it for carrying things. I see them all the time. They just, I don't know where you got one. I'm just like, well, thought it'd be nice to have one. I don't know where you found yours.
Right. I've been looking around trying to find these for less than $100. It's impossible.
Yeah, where'd you get
Less
yours
than
from?
$200. Fuck.
Right.
But anyways,
Yeah.
so we got one, and so we took it out for a cruise, and yeah, I threw it. I tried. I got my gilly out there in the pond. That's it. I could see the fish jumping, and they were on the other side, and I just didn't make my way over there. But
well, I remember that, like, that pond is just high pressured. I remember that one time I came and fished. I'm assuming it's the same pond that I fished that one time. But that one I could see the fish. And
Mhm.
it took me a while to get him to actually eat
To still
something.
get it
Like
to
I
go.
had to
Yeah.
really coax him into, take this thing. Where
Mhm.
I think that's part of the problem is just
Sure.
it's, you know, I think
I'm probably fishing high pressure areas.
I bet you if you set it up on a drop shot, you'd
Yeah?
be able to get him to eat it. Because the drop
Okay.
shot you can, because some
With the gilly?
yeah, because you can. So I don't know if you got the big one or the small one though. If you got the big
It's
one, it might be hard.
it's small. I mean,
You got the small one? Yeah, I think
I
you
th-
could drop shot a gilly. Yeah.
okay.
You because you can sometimes people think that you can't drop shot some of the bigger baits because drop shotting is generally like a finesse technique, but you can do a finesse techniques with larger baits.
Okay.
I've done it with 5-inch minnows before.
Mhm.
It works, but it's just you just have to upgrade everything.
Mm.
Don't go out there with a five. You know, it's it's a different hook that you
Okay.
should be using and stuff for the most part, just because of like the gap should be set up proper so the line doesn't like really interfere. But you could really like rig it on any hook and
Mhm.
just with the right knot, drop shot it. But the big thing about like high pressured fish like that, when if you're keeping it in the strike zone, especially something like a gilly where it's a power bait, so it's scented,
Mhm.
and you're moving it kind of like a dead, or
Yeah.
like a wounded
Like a wound.
sunfish, and
Mhm.
they're opportunistic feeders. Like if you're just kind of jiggling it in that thing's face, not necessarily, you can't really just like cast it out and jiggle it in his face, but if you just kind of move it
Mhm.
and you get it interested and it comes over and it's just sitting there in the strike zone, not moving, that's when it might just be like, yeah, whatever, and then just eat
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Because that's how I remember I ended up catching that one fish, as I was using a weightless fluke, like really started slowing it down and just barely
Wow.
moving it and acting like a dying minnow. And
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, I don't know for
Okay.
sure if it would work. Obviously, nobody knows, but I think
Yeah.
if
That's a
you
good
if
tip.
you were able to just keep it about where it's at and just keep jiggling it,
Okay.
I think eventually something will come eat it.
Okay. Yeah, cuz I was going to say I'm going to revise it and just try something else cuz I think topwater is there's an opportunity for topwater maybe. What do you think?
I think top
Throwing a
water, yeah,
frog?
but I think top water would more depend on the time of day. I think if you went and
Okay.
threw something top water in the morning, like dawn or dusk,
Okay.
but in the middle of the afternoon, it probably wouldn't come and hit it. But if you went early, if
Mhm.
like
Early or late
dusk
as the
frogs, yeah, dusk frogs get active in the grass, and I think they start moving like out of the water
Mm.
when it gets towards dusk.
Mhm.
And I think that if you like casting near shorelines with a top water, it doesn't even need to be a frog. It's just that that's where the bass is looking.
Gotcha.
So it's not necessarily that you have to match exactly what it's trying to eat. It's just that it's like, oh, I might be able to find a nice meal swimming along
Mhm. The
the
bank.
banks of Lake Minnetonka. And then it just like, oh, there goes something that I can eat, and it just smashes it.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, definitely the lower light um
Helps that
areas. Yeah, the
situation.
evening. I seem to have better success in the evening with the top water than I do
Okay.
in the middle of the day.
Okay.
Even when it's calm, sometimes the middle of the day doesn't work quite as well.
Okay.
Doesn't mean it won't, but in a high pressured situation, um, might be hard to get them to blow up on something.
Right.
But there's like little ducks and stuff there, aren't there?
Yeah. Yeah. They're all over town here. Yeah. Like all those little ponds have
Yeah,
ducks and geese on them. So
yeah.
I get what you're saying.
So if they want it bad enough and they're hungry and they think it's an easy meal,
Right.
you definitely got a shot at one of them smashing something.
Okay. Good. Good.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. I'm not scratching it at this point. There's still time.
Oh yeah, you got time. Especially um when we get into these fall months when it starts getting colder.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Like fall can be harder fishing because of the fall turnover where you don't know exactly where the fish are going to be
Right.
in certain bodies of water, but you don't really have that problem on a pond.
Right.
And they start
Okay.
turning on the feed bag. Like
Yeah, that's what I
they
thought you were
start
gonna say.
eating more. Yeah,
Yeah. Because they're trying to pack on the fat because they know winter's coming, right?
exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they start eating some of the ones that were harder to catch. They seem to be almost like not as selective.
Mm.
You just get some in
Mm-hmm.
front of them and they're like more likely to eat it in the fall
Right.
than they are other times of the year.
Bitching.
So yeah,
I
you
got hope.
definitely
I'm not
got.
gonna scratch it. Not by any means. I'm not gonna
That's what I'm saying. Like with the Kyogre too, I'm just like I still got hope, and I don't know
right.
anything about dogfish, but that one's not out of the woods yet either. Like not completely over because my
Mm-hmm.
dad and my parents will be taking that boat out and the dock out eventually here.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no saying that I couldn't just take my little boat up and go fish the lake that I know,
Mm. Yeah.
with my little boat.
Right.
If they're just like, oh, this week's going to be like kind of chilly, but no wind, I'll be like, all right,
All right.
sounds good. All right.
Bitching.
Because I mean, the lake that I always fish is what the crappie video's on. So if you go check out the crappie
Right.
video, Really FTV on YouTube,
That's right.
real with two E's, like
Two
fishing
E's.
reel. Yep.
So you already answered no that to the early crappie spawn, right? Like we scratched that one already. Because you
Yeah,
were
that
saying
one got
early,
screwed up
almost
by the
like you said with
weather.
the live video, you like wanted to go somewhere in between ice out and almost like the live video time. You didn't say that exactly from my memory. I forgot to go back and review the goals,
Yeah,
like audio, but
dude, now thinking back on that right now is kind of crazy too because we never had the ability because the weather didn't allow it. Our ice out didn't
oh shit,
happen
that's right.
until
I never thought about that.
yeah, our ice out didn't happen until it was like time to go fishing.
Yep, I
Like
remember that because
the fish.
sorry, I'm interrupting. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, it's fine. It was just super cold
It was.
until it was almost fishing opener, and then it was
Yep.
just hot. Like we just skipped that middle, that early fishing period. Like it just didn't exist. And
Right.
now thinking back on it is crazy because for us it was cold as hell, and it stayed way colder until way later.
Yep.
And then as a whole, like what, a couple of months ago we hit like the hottest day ever on earth, like as a
Right.
collectively.
Right.
It's like what the hell
What the
was going on? So
hell?
we had like one of the coldest winters like for the longest period of time, and then they're just like, yeah, it's like a record, never been this hot collectively before ever.
Right.
Like
Like what?
okay, I guess
What the
weird.
fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
What the fuck? Okay. I'm gonna go to the next one from that because because you're talking about ice fishing or well, it went into
Oh
ice fishing. You
yeah.
got build confidence in ice fishing skills. Now that could have already happened in January, February, March, April.
Right.
Because all you said was build confidence in your ice fishing skills. Um, doesn't even mean that you had to be ice fishing to do it. Shit, you could have saw, I don't know, a whole series of ice fishing videos this summer and went like, "Oh, I'm confident because I've already been doing all
Right.
that stuff." So like, what does
Yeah.
that mean? What does that goal mean to you now and what does it mean as we check in here?
Well, I mean, it really means to just still get out there and really
Mm,
prove to
mhm,
myself that I'm on these fish
mm,
because I've built confidence in my techniques. I know that I'll be able to catch fish with the ways that I fish because some of the techniques that you use during ice fishing season, I've kind of been able to use in the summer, but just like a faster version of it. You got to kind of
mhm,
slow things down when it hits the winter and stuff. So it's
mhm,
like I'm confident that I have an arsenal. and I'm confident that I have multiple techniques.
Right.
And it's really about just getting out there. So
Okay.
I haven't been able to check off that goal yet because for me, it's like the confidence thing is really being able to put some fish on the ice, to really be able to
Okay.
catch the fish and say,
Sure.
not just that I do have more confidence. I am confident that
Sure.
I'll be able to get out there. I'm confident that I'll be able to find fish and catch fish. But
But
because
you
I'm
need that like
realistic,
sprinkle on top, and that sprinkle on
yeah,
top is getting a
yeah,
fish out of the hole.
because I'm realistic and
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
an honest fisherman. I'm not out there just being like, "Oh, I'll catch them all." You know, it's it's sometimes I do have overconfidence
Sure.
where like
Okay.
even with the dogfish thing, I'm just like, yeah, we're gonna go out there because I'm about to break the state record, you know. But uh, but
Right.
it's sometimes that's like fun too, where I'm being
Right.
overconfident in like a way where
In like
it's
a
like, do I?
braggadocious way on purpose to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
entertain almost, or just to
yeah.
like make some fun of it.
Right. It's like, do I really think that I'm going to break the state record? I don't know. I've seen some fish. I think there's a chance if I could actually get it to bite on my line and
Mm-hmm.
land this
Mm-hmm.
thing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it, but with the ice fishing, um, realistically speaking, yeah, I've gained confidence, but I won't put a check mark on there until I'm
Mm.
able to just at least hold up one decent sized walleye or
Mm.
whatever I'm having to go for and just be
Right.
like, here it is.
Right.
Here's my proof that it's not all talk. Cause I don't want to say I know, you know, that I have the confidence to do all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
before I'm able to prove it to myself that I
Sure.
can actually do it. Cause I've
Mm-hmm.
been out there,
Mm-hmm.
I've caught some fish and stuff, but a lot of the things that I've learned over the past couple of years, I haven't been able to really put together because along with last year's crazy long cold winter, we also had a ridiculous amount of snow and it just made it way too hard for people to get out on the ice
Yeah, it really was a tough year for ice fishing.
consistently.
Yep.
Yeah, and this fall we have a trip plan, but after that I plan on getting some new tires, so that'll give me some more confidence to get out on
Mm-hmm.
the ice too. I
Right.
hope to get something slightly more aggressive as far as the tread pattern goes. So I'll have the
Nice.
confidence to be able to go and, you know, if it does snow a couple of inches, to just not be like, well, I don't want to get stuck. Just be like, I got brand new tires. Let's give it a shot.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So I got two on here that are hopefully episodes, hopefully videos of some sort. And so I'm just going to bring them up at the same time. I got catfish fry and make a short video. Short video meaning, you know, like not
Oh, yeah.
not an episode. We wouldn't call it an
Right.
episode, right? We'd put it on shorts
Sure.
or we'd put it on IG Reels or something like that. Or
Exactly.
we would just launch it as like 2.5 minutes and it wouldn't be what we would call an episode. It might be a,
Sure.
you know, short.
Yep.
I don't know. I was so confident going into that, going into this year with that set in mind because I have somebody nearby that that basically said, I think I got a hole right down here, bend to this river. I'm pretty sure we can get some catfish on it. And then
Mm.
summer hit and it ended up being us shopping for houses for almost the entire
Yes,
thing.
yes.
And so extra trips, um, like we've seen these friends, but
Yeah.
not in long periods of time. And that, you know, you need to
Right.
make a day of this because if I want to turn it into a fry. And so haven't got
Mm.
around to it yet. I don't think it's going to happen just based on the way summer is going so far. But I
Yeah.
don't want to check it off because there's a chance still. If I find the right window, there's a chance.
Okay. Nice.
So I'm going to keep it. But the other one was then pike. I want to make pickled pike bites. Now that one, there's still time. Haven't even tried yet, but I would say short of having a day picked out, I already have plans to continue that journey. If you go find our other shorts, that was my first journey of trying to catch a pike. And
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, short of having a date, I'm confident in this one. So
Okay.
I haven't tried yet, but I'm really holding this one as like I want that one. I want that one bad. That's the one I'm going to work. And that's the comparison between why I brought him up too, is like that pike one. I am like,
Yeah.
I'm holding it in high probability, and I am checking. I'm knocking down the catfish one. I'm knocking it down
Okay.
to like low probability. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. But low probability doesn't mean it's over.
Right.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
So
I don't want to write it.
hell
I'm
yeah.
not going to just check it off the list. That's for damn sure. Because I brought the walleye one now is back on up higher on my list of things because of what you said, you know? So like I was ready to check that one off. And now you're
Yeah.
kind of like, whoa, hold on a second. And
Hey,
I'm like,
hold on.
oh damn. So for my last one, just to go over it really quick, because we were talking about ice fishing and I didn't bring it up, but it just said go ice fishing again before the year's over. So the early ice fishing, I guess we would call it. I want to get out early ice fishing. So hopefully that will happen again.
Right. And that one, again, weather plays a big role. But definitely, yeah, I have a sled. I can just pull out my stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to get out there too.
Yeah.
And then if we could like work it out that we could both go together, sweet. But whatever, if we gotta go, divide and conquer and get the shit done, then that's what we gotta do. But
hand crank augers just sitting on the side of the road right now, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. Maybe I should grab it.
Dude, here's the deal, dude. I have a hand crank auger too. It's almost as much to buy replacement blades as it is to buy a whole brand new auger with new blades.
No shit.
Yeah, so that's why I looked into it. I'm like, should I buy replacement blades? And it's not that far off. And it's like, do I really want to put new blades on this old rusty piece of shit? Or should I just buy a whole new one? Because the prices aren't that far off. So
good to know. Very good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. And I think when it starts getting closer, they like to put those on sale too. Because they don't necessarily like go big sales on everything else, but it's something they can put in their flyer.
Oh, right.
Auger for this much money. And then people go like, oh, okay, maybe. I don't know.
Right.
I guess I don't really need that, but I'll buy all these other lures at full price.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Your last one, Tim. Your last one, your last personal one, and then we'll jump into the Real AF TV stuff quick here before the topic's over. Put more fishing footage in the can. I think we kind of covered that one a little bit. But what do you have to say? What is the status? Do you have any in the can right now? I did
this
not.
one I failed miserably. I have not recorded anything.
Shit.
Because I've been again.
Well, it's the same situation, right? Like
it's not.
You can't mount it to your dad's boat.
Exactly.
It's hard to film when there's 8 people in the boat.
So there's been a couple of different things where I was like, we need to do this, we need to do that, and like I've come up with a couple of different ideas. And every time I have an idea, I'm set in my head that I'm gonna do this, and then the situation, like everything I had planned, just doesn't work out. It's not what I should be doing or whatever. So then I end up changing it up, and yeah, it just doesn't line up. I literally have all my gear up there. All the batteries are charged. Everything's ready to roll. So it's not over yet. Like, I'm not
good.
The summer's not 100% over yet. I was hoping with the Labor Day weekend that I can get everything up, and then I can actually go out with the Kyogre so we can get 2 birds with 1 stone possibly. Like if I get out there with the
Nice.
Kyogre. We can have some footage of the Kyogre. Plus, I use the Kyogre lure, so who knows? But yeah, I still plan on going out there, but yeah, with my nephew all the time, he wants to go fishing, and it's a lot of, I'm also trying to show him how to fish. I'm trying to learn. He's getting more and more into bass fishing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to teach him and stuff. And I suppose like some of that stuff, if he's cool with it, I could be, really, uh, I, the problem is, again, this isn't an excuse. I just want to let people know like where we're coming from, or like my mindset on how we're making these episodes and stuff. Like, I want to make episodes where there's entertainment value at the same time that it's not strictly just fishing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's
So
totally been our goal from the beginning. It's like you gotta
yeah,
make learning fun, because just this droning of things is boring. And then there's the other extreme end of like the YouTube overhyping every moment of the like sell it, sell it, sell it.
right, yeah.
And yeah, we're not doing that. Like, even if it doesn't feed the algorithm, because we're not
Right.
doing the like pull your set the hook so hard I fall off the back of the boat, fake
Or just
shit.
scream. Yeah.
Oh yeah, blowing out
There's
the
one I
mic.
saw the other day where they had a rubber ducky that they glued feathers onto and put some hooks and stuff, and they just like, yeah, we'll see, and then they pop it a couple times and they catch it. And they're like, oh my god, no way, on the rubber ducky. And it's just like, I mean, a rubber ducky that you glued real feathers onto looks like a real duck.
Right. You
So
made a duck
now
lure. Those are real things too, right?
Yeah, I can't believe that you acted like this is such a shock that you caught a fish. Like, it seems to be pretty. Actually, when I looked at their lure, I'm like, dude, that looks like something you could probably even sell almost. It's like
that's what you should be hyped on, is that you made a good fucking lure, not like,
exactly.
oh,
Yeah, it's kind of like right. It's like a crude, ugly version, but like you could definitely clean that up and not have it look like a rubber duck from the top.
The fucking alpha version, dude. There's
Yeah.
still a beta that come after that before you launch an official.
So, not to say that there won't be some hype moments. Like, obviously, if I catch a new personal best, I almost like the funny thing is if we ever film it and you see me catch my personal best, I almost get quiet. That's how I think most people should be. Not just like, oh my god, ah. I'm just like, I'll be reeling it, and I'm just like, oh, there's a fish. That's a good one. And as soon as I see it's big, I go, oh, it's a fucking monster. Oh my god, dude, look at this. And then when I land it, then it's just, and then I'm even like a silent like, oh yes, I'm like looking around if anybody else see it. I'm just like, like if anybody even looks at me, they don't know, but I just almost, I feel like I'm almost make eye contact with somebody like 300 feet away. I'm just like pointing in the net like, oh, you see it, oh man. Yeah. And then I'm like holding it up, trying to take selfies because I'm the only person. Just like, is anybody else seeing this? Look at this fucking giant fish. You seen that? It's giant. Yeah. But yeah, anyways, the point that I was getting at was like, there's definitely an episode to be made with, like lately I've been bringing my nephew out and we've been going and I'm trying to let him like, the high percentage things, like we're fishing for bass here, man. There's bass everywhere, and we're not going to try to, high percentage casts. When we go up and we're fishing docks, there's a lot of structure. So like I'm having them cast out and I'm having them reel in and I'm telling them like, make this cast, make that cast. You see where that meets that? Cast right there. And I'm trying to point everything out. You see how there's reeds that come up over to that structure? It's like we have reeds meeting that boat lift. Like that's a money spot. If you can cast and bring your lure right between those two pieces of structure, like that's where we want to be and all this other stuff. And then I'm trying to like let him know that like we're eliminate dead space. You know,
Oh yeah, we talked about
hit
that
that
last time
spot,
or
work it past some
recently.
of the structure. Once you get it past that structure, don't dick around with between the structure and the boat. Burn that shit in and cast it back to the structure again, you know?
Yep.
So it's that kind of stuff where I'm trying to explain to them, you know, what we're doing here, what we're trying to get at, what we're trying to get after, why we're
Yeah,
doing it,
I can
all
see
that
that as a
different
good
stuff. So
episode
there's
for sure.
yeah, so there's an episode to be had there, but at the same
But
time, like I want to be writing jokes. I like to
yeah, where's the entertainment
I like
value when you're like
I
trying to
like
seriously
yeah,
teach this
I'm
newcomer to a
right.
sport that you
Yeah,
love, you know?
right.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm very
hard. I
big
get
on
it.
analogies and stuff, you know? So it's like I want to like throw out and try to like explain it. Like I think it's funny to think of it like a humor. Like it might be you might have a couple of these things of what I just said like makes a lot of sense, but you might not remember it later. Like what did he say? If I tell you a good joke, they go, "Oh shit, that's right. He said it was like this," you know?
Right.
Where it's
Right.
and
Which we do on
I'll
the
put it out
podcast all the time, for
we
sure.
do
Like,
on
go
the
listen to the
podcast all
backlog.
the time, and I'll tell you one of them. Like this is just a little behind the scenes, just for fun here, because I because I had a new little part of it that hit my head before, because I've told you about it, where it's just like
Mhm.
I have this a video that I want to make of where it's like the bass spawning, you know,
Mhm.
and bass when they spawn oftentimes will not spawn close enough to another male where they can see them when they're on the bed,
Oh,
but
yeah.
sometimes they will spawn right next to each other if there's something, you know, blocking the view of the other one, like a log. And I was just like, it's, you know, think of it like taking a shit. If you're in a bathroom and there's no partitions, it's just like one toilet in an empty space, you're gonna be like, you're taking a shit, and another dude comes in and tries to take shit. You're like, hey, dude, get out! What are you doing? I'm in here pooping, dude. But if there's partitions, you can poop, and there can be a guy come in and poop right next to
Right
you. I
next
mean,
to you.
you guys are feet away. You get that partition, like you're close enough to touch that dude.
Yep.
But as long as that thing is there blocking you, so you can't see him while you're doing your business, it's completely
It's
fine.
cool.
And then the part that I had that kind of adding onto this deal was just like, obviously there's outliers. That's not always the case. Sometimes you're gonna have guys like Dave that'll stare you dead in the face, drop his trowel, and shit at your feet. But we're not trying to catch the Daves in this world. We're out there trying to, you know, put
Yep.
together a pattern and do, you know, what should be a
Right.
thing that we
What is
can
an
try to
expected
learn.
behavior? Dave
Yes,
Dave doesn't have
expect to
expected
be.
behaviors.
You know, Dave's a wild card. That guy's out there just. Uh,
Oh, that's good. It's still a
yeah.
good joke. I've heard it once or twice. It's fucking funny.
See,
Oh,
so that's what we're
oh yeah,
talking
go ahead.
about. Anyways, that's why
Right,
I was
right.
just
Yeah.
like,
Nope, I
so
get you. So yeah,
we've
it's
kind of
been
had, yeah, a little bit of opportunity, but like what I ended up doing that day wasn't something I was necessarily prepared for,
right.
you know.
Yeah, you weren't
So
necessarily super stoked
it's
on filming it and stuff like that.
exactly, and there have been times where I like got everything ready and out there and just completely, you know, didn't have everything that I was supposed to. I don't need to get into the weeds of all like the technical stuff and all my equipment, but it was just like, if you haven't, the couple of times that I had a chance to get out there, like you think that you're ready, and then when you get out there, you're just like, oh shit, I'm missing this piece. And again,
Yep.
that comes with the whole like trying to set everything up every time I go out there,
Yeah. Yep. And it
you
doesn't
know.
help that I'm not out there either, you know, as the camera techie guy too. It's like it would be nice to
Oh,
have
sure.
like the producer camera guy out there with you so that way you could focus on the fishing part of it and then I could focus on getting the cameras and then start fishing, you know. It would
Yeah,
be it would be a better setup that way.
sure. Yep.
So,
But again, hopefully, in theory, everything should be getting much better soon. And that's my, you know,
teaser.
I don't know if I can really set that as a goal, but it's just
Right.
like,
Well,
uh,
but we can
hey,
save
my
it
new
for, you
goal is
know,
to make
for we
everything better sooner.
We only got a few months until we got to do our 2024 one. So like, I don't know, think about it a little bit, but okay. We're going to wrap up quick by going over the Real AF TV. Tim's home studio, more than podcasting. We are not there. I did not go up to Tim's place. I did not help him.
Yeah. Well,
That
that's another thing I'll hit
take
you
my
with real quick.
on it too.
Well, it's not just you, but it's like you barely played a role in this. I know you were going to come and help, but it's 100% on me, and just not having the funds at the moment to be able to get out in the backyard and redo my patio, because patio and gutters is step one, so it doesn't flood in the basement onto the new carpet. Yeah. I know
there's an unexpected when we made these goals, there was unexpected home repairs that came as a result of you trying to get the studio
because I thought
up.
It was like, oh, I just need to replace all my carpet, and then I realized like, oh, my basement floods when it rains a lot. And then Mother Nature went and made me look like a dick. I'm like, I can't do that because it's going to rain and it's going to flood. And then it just didn't rain the whole summer.
We just finally started getting rain again here in the late half of August.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, really I've been weighing, that's another thing. I've been weighing a couple of different options for the patio, and I just really need to redo the patio slanted away from the house to make sure that I got gutters back there. But it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's like or like a catch-22 almost, like where it's, not catch-22, but whatever. It's like I gotta finish both things before I can do this other thing,
right?
And because both of those things cost money, and I spent money on carpet already, which I can't put in yet.
Right.
And I'm just crossing my fingers that critters aren't fucking with it, because it's just a carpet roll in my garage now.
Oh, fuck.
I'm just like, if I unroll it and there's a goddamn, but luckily I think as long as they don't, as long as they're not eating it and stuff, it should just be like the inside tube.
Right.
Wherever it's at. So maybe there's just a one small part that you can cut off, affected by animals.
Have to worry about it. Right.
Yeah, but I don't. The one end's completely wrapped up, and the other end's not. I should probably just
bring out the
literally just hit me. I should go get a fucking towel and just plug the hole. I don't know why I didn't think about that until just now.
But mice are small though, so they would go in anywhere. Like the hole isn't the part.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And anybody who thinks that you're not living with mice, you're a big fucking liar, and you're naive to how mice live.
Oh, they're everywhere, dude.
They're everywhere. They are just everywhere. Crazy. Now, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there's any infestation, that people have infestations or anything like that. But if you have a fly in your house, you've had a mouse in your house.
Yeah, in the mouse in the house. Rasta mouse.
Because I just wanted to make it clear that I don't think that you live in like a dirty place that's full of mice. It's
no. It's they can get into the garage. They have ways of getting into the garage, but I don't know exactly where or how. But I've just seen some like mouse turds outside.
Yeah.
So I know that they've been able to get into the garage, but I've also set up mouse traps and not found anything. And I've set up mouse traps with like multiple different like food sources and stuff. So I'm not too nervous about it, but I've also
because it's not like a big deal. Again, they're not. It's not an infestation. You just like they're there, and I've also they're there somewhere. Trust me.
Yeah. Oh, I've witnessed them firsthand in the backyard. One time I woke up to pee at like 2 a.m, and I look out the window just because I don't know. I didn't really have a reason to, and there's just a stray cat fucking up a mouse. Just like, oh, look at that.
Check that out, dude.
That's kind of crazy.
That's how I know too. Here, similar situations is I've got a dog that hunts rodents.
Ah, yes.
And so he's caught different. He hasn't caught them, but he's chased different things. Obviously the rabbits and the squirrels, but then there's been like gophers, mice.
Yeah.
These things he's chased before, and it's just like, we live amongst them, so they've burrowed in when it's cold somewhere somehow, and I'm just being realistic. That's all.
Yeah. Somehow, some way, they're able to make it work. Yeah.
Okay, back to the goals quick.
Yep.
Firing them off. Launch into short form videos. Bam. We got one. But that brings us to my next one. Put up 26 good photos or short videos. Well, we got one. I have no idea. We have 0 photos. I put up a couple photos. I wouldn't call them good photos, though.
Yeah.
And then,
you know what though? I'll put it down.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like weird timestamps, but for sure I'll be able to put some stuff up. Like we're talking about that, like king mackerel. I'll put up some other photos and stuff on Instagram for sure. Like
nice.
I know we talked about it for whatever reason. I just haven't got to it. And another reason is just been like because of what we were talking about with having other people all the time. Like the couple of times I've been able to get up by myself is when I've had success.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the times where I just like have selfie photos. I haven't really had people around to just be like, hey, snap this photo.
Gotcha.
Another reason, if we had the cameras up, we'd be able to take stills.
Right. Yep.
Just, oh man.
Yeah. Because I grabbed a couple stills out of that crappie video that I really liked. I don't know if we posted them. We could count those. Anyways. Look through our, maybe I'll go scroll through our Instagram and check it out.
Yeah. I got pics and I got coming up in the second half here.
Okay.
Kick ass. I'll tell you about a pic.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the last one I got is Shopify. God damn it. Shopify and Spotify. I get them mixed up all the time. Spotify video. I actually, again, I'll just say it. I put this as, I know how, we'll see. Like, I know where the tutorial is. I know that what we have to do. I need to go in and recheck the Spotify stats again. But if you're listening to this on Spotify, please, again, realaf.tv/contact. Let us know. Hey, I would watch the video there. Okay. Because though Spotify has a decent crowd of, like, we have an okay audience there that seems to be listening to it loyally. We have to do extra work to get the video up, and it's not a small amount of work necessarily. And I'm just like, I don't want to do it because I have the system streamlined right now. So I would like the feedback from the community to push us that way. I'm checking it off at this point, just going, nah, I just don't want to do it. I know how to. I know that we could. I know we'd be probably one of a few podcasts on there, but it just seems like such an audio focused medium that I'm just not willing to put in that extra effort right now when YouTube is doing just fine.
Yeah. And we should say currently, it's so audio focused currently, just to
as we
lay it out there that maybe stuff will change in the future. Not saying I'm not trying to hint at anything. I'm just saying we have tossed around the idea of maybe changing stuff up, and who knows what that means for the future. But currently, it definitely makes sense to not go that route right now.
Yeah, for the format.
So depending on when, so depending, I just want to throw that out there. Depending on, if there's a listener when you might hear this, I don't know. Maybe it's 2 years down the road you stumble upon this episode, and then things have changed. So
like you're going through the backlog, and you're like, we've already watched like a year's worth of Real AF TV on Spotify. And you go,
right.
Yeah. So that was that. This is as we're recording this, 2023 goals. I'm checking it off the list as I'm scratching it off the list, not checking it. I'm scratching it off the list of like, check. It's not one of our things that is coming up here in a few weeks in September,
right?
Where we're gonna, there will be some things that in September we're gonna, hey, check it out. That is not one of them. I'm just scratch. Done.
Right. And some, there have been a couple of episodes that have been more video oriented.
Yes.
But those definitely you can come and check out on YouTube, which actually reminds me of that
we
jig.
forgot to do a housekeeping. I had it down on my list too, Tim. I'm sorry. It's the
No, that's
first
okay.
bullet point. Yeah, quick
I saw that
housekeeping
you.
at the end,
Yeah,
man.
I saw that you had it. So
Yeah.
yeah, just quick housekeeping. When we were talking about jigs last week, the only thing I wanted to, that I realized that I missed that I think would be very helpful for somebody that's thinking about like which jig you should buy and stuff. If you plan on using live bait, those jigs are typically different than the normal ones where they don't
Like a
have.
live bait jig is
Yeah.
a different kind of jig.
Yeah, for the most part, where it's like
Huh.
there's no bait keeper. Like
Oh,
this one has the tinsel, and this is like an old rusty hook, but there's no bait keeper here. And like
yep.
this one, a lot of times people will put a minnow on that style. But
Okay.
I had some, I forgot to grab one, but they actually like it'll just be the jig head with the hook coming off of it, and a lot of times the shanks are even shorter on the hook. Like a
Why is that?
good just because you don't want like a big long piece of metal. It like makes it look way awkward
Oh,
because you're hooking the
yep.
minnow through the head most of the time, or
Right.
whatever it
Okay.
happens to be that you have live bait on there. So it
Yep.
just makes more sense to have the hook. It it almost always too, like even if you put like a worm or like a leech,
Mm-hmm.
it likes to like slide along that shank unless you were to have like a hook that had some barbs on it. And they don't really ever have that on a jig head.
Yep.
There are some hooks that have like little barbs that keep like a worm if you're fishing, pan fishing, you're putting a worm on there.
Okay.
But they don't have that on a jig. So for the most part, like a very good example that I know right off the bat, if anybody wants to go and see it, if you Google it or you just want to go and look at it at your local bait shop,
Mm-hmm.
the Callan's Rattling Eye jig head. There is
Okay.
one that's made, it's the exact same jig head. There is one that's made for like soft plastic, and then there's one that's made for live bait.
Oh.
And you can clearly see that the soft plastic one has a bait keeper and the shank is longer on the hook,
Okay.
where you have like jig head and there's like an inch long shank before the bend comes in.
Yeah.
And on the live bait one, there's almost no shank whatsoever. It just kind of like curls up
Into a
almost
hook, like almost
immediately. And
immediately.
there's no bait keeper on it. It's the exact same jig head,
Sure.
but the hook style is different.
They like literally one's called the, I don't know, artificial, and one's called the live. Like it's
Yeah. Yeah. I think, like you said, I don't know if it's called artificial, but I think the one is like a short shank, like live bait one. But
yeah,
yeah,
short shank implies it's live. Yep.
it's definitely, there's definitely a difference in the two.
Sure.
And now that I'm saying it, I was just going to quick Google it, but,
That's okay.
is that,
You get it. You did a good job.
is that what we're ending on? Was there
Yeah.
anything else in housekeeping?
No. I mean, there was nothing else that I wanted to. Everything else I mentioned during the housekeeping segment, I just forgot that one. I looked right
Okay.
over it.
Okay.
Unless you had something else that I forgot about totally.
Uh-uh.
Okay, then let's
No,
do
here,
it. Let's
I'll
jump.
show you.
Oh,
If
you
anybody's
got something.
watching
So
this real
anybody
quick,
watching on YouTube?
there's a picture. See how long that shank is?
Yeah.
And like right there, there's a little bait keeper.
Yep.
So and there's like that shank itself is like or like it's like a painted, there's like a bait keeper on the back, that
Yep.
little metal barb, and then there's a little nub here.
On the painted part still of
Yeah.
the weight essentially.
Yep. And if you get the live bait one, it gets rid of both of those.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Yep.
Short. Oh,
no, that'll bring it to it. Yeah.
Short
that's a better
shank.
one. Yep.
There's no nub here. That's still painted.
Yeah.
But there's no bait keeper.
And it's like the hook. It's like a perfect U almost. The hook is like a U, where it's the same length on both sides.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the only thing is like that's not the only one. That's just off the top of my head. Like,
but that's the perfect example.
Perfect example.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a perfect example.
So
Nice.
that was one thing that I forgot. Like you can use both for both, but it
But
they're not designed for that, you know? Like you
sure.
could put a soft plastic on the live bait one, but it's not going to hold it there as well. And you
Mm-hmm.
could put a minnow on the other one, but then you kind of have awkward like hook keepers with a long shank and it just looks less natural.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. They're just not designed to be used like that. You can get away with it, but just, you know, if you're trying to buy proper and use the right stuff, that's
Right.
how it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hell yeah. We got into the summer break a little bit there, but I know that we got more to share in the random take. So there's going to be a lot of fishing in
Mm-hmm.
the random take on this one too, from Tim's end for sure.
Yeah.
I have some things, but yeah, that's a fishing topic that is a good way to end it, even though that was supposed to be earlier. But I'm glad it made it in here because now the people who listen on Friday are going, or the people who listen to it on Wednesday on the off week are going to get that too. They're tucked in at the end. Wanted to let that one out there more in the wild. So anyways, let's hit the break.
Yeah.